everybody, for the prisoners, for the government people, for the securities, for the women walking on the street. Father, I am interceding for everybody. I am using this 4 days fasting to intercede for everybody. Father, please, look at what is happening in other countries. Look at what is happening in other countries. Flood. But we are praying that Ghana, nothing will happen. The whole world, everybody will be saved. But we are praying. This is what I've seen. It is very strange. It is very strange. Please again.
Okay. Abranti ya ohwe ohun ni video e was screen so din e different Ebo Noah. Na Ebo Noah the issue ni dey very dicey. So let me break it down. Ya wo na Abranti bi pop up on social media o hwese na oye ne niema ne ade na ase bi a Pharisee mo Bible ni mu o hwe de o hwe se brukutuku anase bidie kutuku ene de atade ama na o hwe na emu na Abranti ehun se afede wo posti ark anase ship. According to him, no, no beka say Nyankopon ba 25th December into a build ark. Na sa ark no two bia two so bia heading obegin invitation na obem. Na hype na koswa ma me no ka say no. Apparently sa Branty all these were no so build the ark near the no send 419. I didn't make us apparently no not say ark na all build the na Ghana phobia GD a ebemu donate e ma no. You could say say ark no okọ eye kepu squan hu baby. E na fishermen ya omu si omu ark no omu dia kunsu so akwache fish no. Sa fishermen no e na Ebo Noah ko twa sa video no dia ba beto. Inti dey na edu ye o shares Nyankopon beba inti ni ark no osi no. E na fishermen fo ni say debi sa ark here eye Noah. Ebo Noah dia beto abefu ndintan fidie so say Nyankopon ba no. It is not his ark. Eye adia ye si fishermen ye si ni e dia kopo so akwache fish na sa fishermen for no ma ba be kasa and because of this in sema sa fishermen for wo mu dia ba be tudwa no ebi mu e demand say be yanka ye nchi eye Ebo Noah ye share the first video of Abranti na odi kan kasa ya ogina ark no ho a all share say this ark Ebo Noah purchase say Nyankopon ba nti na esa ark no ntro that particular boat which is the ark no it belongs to them. This has further actually ignited the calls to arrest Ebo Noah. You can share this particular video of what really happened. Ebra omu expose Ebo Noah says ark no fishermen for there na emum na enye Ebo Noah na ark.
Boat elimna na opemo na Ebo Noah. Uda kusam le insu boto 25th. Abel mina abata tama ebu bebele ha no opam ti o pa mark dia o ye boat awel mina wo opam nti se ibi ejidi de wa pa mark bia on pa mark elimna no twetwa video we e kwata kwade tama ebu boat silibi.
It's for video ni share and clearly show say the ark na Ebo Noah all castle or building ebi mu cry donations no fake. Now one person swaba be kasa o chemu why sa ark here so the whole conspiracy say ark bi Nyankopon banti Noah Ebo Noah build the ark ni ade obi aba be kasa o chemu say all of these things no a conspiracy theory me chemu fake news ade obi asha that snasi anwene nya adwen aye ne so ki ma menya ade we na men trend Ebo Noah ankasa ba be kasa but before the intie the fishermen they explaining how all of these things came about and some of them are even furious say aden na Ebo Noah usi ark no akotwa obi boat. Now they are about to social media. According to them, this is very bad. So, share this particular few excerpts of this particular video. Say Babaka, you better also with more explanation and also expose. Ebo Noah have been exposed finally. Be more patches. Any serious country cry by now. Now, Branty is say the fake news. Any serious country can actually cry. Mameno can say straight or joining Agrada or in Sawan prisons.
today you know all build the ark we were having no to count no color woman in your body.
No color woman there. Madam Kofa from Abidjan, or been from Togo, been from Kofa from Anapena, more alive in and Wakat, and people are calling me Bissam a day, no, but I am not Miss Salmon or Enoquai. Nanala Bahan on and Namaha, no so a jar, or scenario or the bar or a boat from Oklahoma and Kokadu, I'm a mutual. They just so I TikTok and
young funnel 1-1. I and my more fancy
fancy on Mambakai, Muchum, Musmabido Mitin. Not say.
The man of Bahadi.
Oh, we would know about more than 3 months. No, 3 months. No, you didn't pour around. My minimum. I know you.
Oh, okay. See, Obeno. No,
Oba Castle won't problem, Mina Castle. Maybe I know this is no name.
But now, on starting with name the
a content creator. Already Nangason or a content creator. Certain share. And I may be no one then Kofumpo one share baby.
Oh, Kofunim there, or create content. Now, TikTok, content view. But all of a sudden, also new vision.
I didn't mean I took so bad.
It's not sure we did damn me.
My Adam French and most and the one baby in what I wonder. Obibia so when I see a dasha, tomatoes and the Bible or the cane to I'm a shrub a green mountain.
It's 25th no she
what was known by Yamadan per eye.
Ibinum local concert we rapaholic, Ibinum in there no, but you bet me off work in there because Misha did put 1 week.
I can could go on
Hindi now come.
I could be the one name. On what I trace. Oh, not that tracing why. Yeah,
off when I bet me a Benoit. Oh, wait, you are now. Okay. So, see, or today, na original order of no and almost says Ebuno and ark. So this is Ebuno's ark, and this is where he came to climb and said he's building.
Go up.
So let me climb up and see what's inside. Guys. Wow. So this is it. See, actually, 25th, you know, you bet you the mala another hair. Guys, so I've come to where Ebunowa said he's building the ark, and this is the exact ark that he said he's building. And this is not an ark, it's a boat. It's a fishing boat. Yeah, it's a fishing boat, and so if in case the rain starts, how are we going to survive in this?
It's clearly ustie in sama a fisherman ne kan almost Ebunowa ba ho e no be survey e no no akase fru boat ba ho e no wie no se Nyankopon here dey ahye ni say on build the ark. Regardless, Ebunowa is taking this to the extreme because even days before that particular expose be occur circle o preach say Nyankopon eba 25th December wasan so aba be kasa before them one mon share preach na Ebunowa preach say Nyankopon eba no yen share this particular video eba ebe to us
ma obi enka kire o say mi hu yanka wankasa edura na waba yes sana no time no so esiye sana no time no so esiye enti wa utwemu a wo ba me ka kire o say fanya mesesia repent when you obi ayaka funny bomb still now your friend Ebo Noah the ark builder still me catch you uchomwa now afanya be no judgment in the ark yen judge wa ark obia embra wa bodam wa we asawoni wa tatu hu an roba obia embra me invite obia fanyami sesia no judgment in the ark obia embra
Okay, so that was Ebunowa party said there's no judgment in the ark. But same way by man for exposing say Branty say na wo ka oni ema ne ade ade wo ye fake waba be kasa na wo hwe Ebunowa ne demeanor, you could see say Ebono wankasa no. It's not Ebono wine. Let me put it that way. Osha bibi wo chikakra. You go share this particular video of Ebono wa apparently no o chichiremu way of things and as how anyema ekoso and also some of them amanfo bebre kase embeche ne ade ade a o kire se ono de on kanche obia se ombe donation. Itimo amoka se yenchi Ebono wa ono de Nyankopon na afre asom no na Ghana so no e freedom of association. Inti anase freedom of religion. Inti Nyankopon afre na se bi obi fre ne nyame na me ne ye ngina ho. Ebono wa se Nyankopon afre no so build the aka. Me ne wo any Sam George fa ye ho ben. Yenko tie nsema Ebono wa eka after a year calls intensify say yenchiro because the all ye no public misinformation.
Who have arrested me? I have not collected anybody's money. I have not collected anybody's money. You are come to arrest me. Those saying when we come and it doesn't rain, you lash me. Those hands go touch me. Hands go touch me. Hands go touch me. Then don't come. Masa. Me say Oba na nso na nto na wo de wonsa kame. And the member unim say yampa member say Oba nso na nto a hands go touch me. Say when we come and nothing happen to us, hands go touch you. Hands go come and touch me. Come and touch me. You are doing something, we say stop. You don't want to stop. I say come to the ark. Have I collected your money? Come to the ark. Come to God. If you don't want to come, there or somewhere, say hands go touch me. Hands go touch me. Masa.
Okay. So that was Ebono wo patch say amanfo amoka say yenchi no hwe 25th do no ko gina akuna nsu anto Nyankopon amba na obi be na agi say we dey come shows and ebebo a o se masa obe che say me mama dina life dey inside. Now I was also concerned be true because this issue is really getting heated. We enoka truja.
Please and please again. I am not the one sending the invite. There's this invitation going on. I am not the one sending the invite. I am not the one sending the invite. And there's an account on Twitter. The person using Twitter, I am not on Twitter. I am not the one responding to those messages. I am not on Twitter. I haven't sent anybody any message. I haven't sent anybody any message. The ark is free. Don't let somebody take your money. Please. The ark is free. God is free. The ark is free. God is free. The ark is free. Listen. The ark is free. God is free. The ark is God. Salvation is for all. Salvation is for all. Salvation is for all. Don't let somebody tell you there is no God. Don't let somebody tell you there is no ark. Don't let somebody tell you there is no ark. We are serving a living God. We are serving a living God. It happens to Noah. It happens to Noah. It happens to Noah. We are telling you the ark is God. The ark is God. My brother, don't let something happen to you before you ask for forgiveness. Don't let something happen to you. Please.
Okay. Same way and Ebunowa edituja. Now far from that to Amafu Bebre react about this whole Ebunowa issue air course. One person who's about react a ship dealer. Ship na ark. Tis a ship dealer ni ark the echo. Yinti is a ship dealer or the tuja.
Akwa no ya no mzo ni ajapade dabi woni pa woni ajapade de san kwofo de sebi previous adum fin kwa ne o mutrim na ka wa ajapade enti ka ba diri se wi asensai me e pa cho di omni se me ka sa ma park no me garage no ka me nya dai no matu se wi ase be se obi afra no se wi ase be se
na mpacho wo na onim ship nsuo ba beto ya ship ba nkata so ebe na tinya
de won plan se ship na sinke na esiwa no plan sinke dabi na bo dabi ship na sinke na ship no mpacho no hwe floor no
nsuo to ari egu
na me chese wo de yem twa no kwa so no hwe floor no floor no hwe
no catch it on no ship
wo ma bubo me kwande de da floor ni mu enti wo de si nsuo ni ma ship no kwa nsuo ya mu mada da sinke awie e na esiwa no e de asem na kwa ye
now see omo munye da pade no ti ase be say
na one o de mama just one example e wi ase nyina mama just one example yeah ono o yes kani o ya rich man pa yeah waka cho se wi ase ba be say da wo mo sebi nyankopon nim so mo tiri mo den na wa mo kaple no ana wo mo dwene sa dum sini de bia na wi ase say na e wi ase say a masa ye de ye anya de wi ase ko be say ntino ye twa so nyame yesiro bia mo na nya hode say o si wi ase be say ta mo be ya pedeti papa bi na fa she kasa be 2300 bi na ka de akosha na ka ne nipa ye ma to reform wo de 25th December ya inti say ya mbanza ka 13 days mboa now we interest home
me
aye o credit so ni hwe ntim fa ho na se wo mfa ho se wi ase se yo e wi ase an se yo wo mfa ho wo ti gugurum kuma no masa ya bia ke wo
Okay. So according to ship dealer, mo ni hwe ana ya yi ni hwe no e na wiase be say de sa pepe sa na sansem ni e koso so mo pacho I want to know media to comment ni mo, do you believe in Noah's ark? Ebi mo say yes, ebi mo say no, so mo vote na at the end of the day the highest will win. But then on this same Noah's ark the bidi kan ko ensem foforo na echi yabaso last week an information ebe told you say lady bi American ni oba Ghana oba vacation or call back and not share say Ghana yehu because a police phobic kidnapping no now share lady ni dia oyusu e TikTok because TikTok no make sa comments na sa comments no akọ viral on social media na menu ukasi a police for ababe react lady ni din at the Ariana Naomi McKay or ye American tourist oba Ghana or ka say ebro oba Ghana no or Ghanaian friends no mu di akoni aba ba police phobi e kidnapping de ni ko share bibi a dirty account ama sa video no trending on social media. Subsequently the Ghana National Security and the Ghana Police have brought out a statement say they are investigating it, but then menu ukasi the lady herself no e kamya ko say this account will make you on social media no, is either say a fake and as on one kasa wa sheda na wa bona dream we see now Jane so obi tro at Ghana. So now what even makes it this shocking is that lady no on make some videos before some video or car say you be kidnapping no Ghana. Now videos so make you know before or make some video no or car say obi etua ni ska say ombra e krobi so ana ombra Ghana no be make video tinye na nipa ni ska na de ma nipa ni man ska emu yedu ye pa anche bia no ba Ghana be make some video so amanfo bi ewe echi emu bi omo dream say obi and the boss a lady ni pa political party bi na boss lady ni pa so ombra chroma no be ye video no fangu Ghana hu fin se na be at the end of the day no one more omo ba 30 December o Ghana no omo mbebiem do be afraid na me no kasi American tourists bi so edin sim bi ababe tuja o believe say Ghana for also man we need bread because you see an American a bear trend on social media. Obia sorry when I came to Ghana I was kidnapped, I was beaten. Ghanaians they do their things slow. Ghanaians their Uber is expensive, rent is expensive. Almost say Ghana who fit amount for more man on person mobile. They will reroute their destination to maybe other neighboring countries like Nigeria or South Africa, and also we lose dollars. Yenko tie in summer. Sa American tourists you know say waba Ghana or Ghana sisi a sense ma ye can say amount for kidnapping microphone. It is not true. These things is not true. Okay. Eyade ebi mu asheda omobo mutimu poso ombeye bibia e etwantro yenkone nkwohwe this video of what this particular lady said or expose this particular lady or make a video on social media trending yes ya kidnapping na kra no we delete video no ne TikTok so or they are too private. The Ghana police called her say omo pese on assist investigation or say asem na twem on pese obeka hu nsem biem. And now this particular lady is saying said we shouldn't allow this as a nation, okay, to go and punish because the lady is defaming the country, which could cost us a lot of financial loss. So young court to the United States of America now Ghana police for filing a case against her, drag her, and let's start prosecuting her. We any in summer sa lady or the etuja.
Yo, when I saw that video of the girl who said that she was kidnapped, I was like, oh my god, like that's so scary. So I showed my boy, like I saw the video when it was 300 likes, like before it even really blew up. So I showed my boyfriend, he was like, that could never happen in this Ghana. In this Ghana, that could never happen. I'm like, maybe because I'm not crazy and delusional, like I can't fathom that somebody would lie about getting kidnapped by 3 police officers. Like the story was intricate, it was elaborate. They put blindfolds on her eyes. Like when was rehearsal? Because you're a good actor, like then boom. Come to find out, now she's blocking the girl on WhatsApp, whatever. But like, to be honest, I mean, not the girl. She's blocking the police officers on WhatsApp, doesn't want to cooperate. The friends that she says she's with don't want to cooperate. And like, wow, like that's mental illness. Like you're sick. You're sick. Like Ghana police, please don't let this go. Please don't let this go. Like I need to see her day in court, in whatever. Like I need her to come on here and make an apology. Because I have this theory that like someone is paying people to do bad PR for Ghana right now in Desi December, because I've seen a lot of like weird videos that are like, oh, like I came to Ghana, this. Yo, I've been living in Ghana for 7 months. I feel more safe in Ghana than I do in any US city. Like point blank period. Like Ghanaians are calm. Like their demeanor is calm. Like I'll walk in Ghana at night because the worst thing that you're gonna do is what? Steal my phone in the Medina traffic. Like that's the worst. Like that's the worst. The worst thing a Ghanaian is gonna do is insult. After that, like there's no like, that's the farthest it's gonna go. I even feel like I'm aggressive. Here. Like sometimes I'm like, okay, let me tone it down when I'm upset because like people here don't like no tea, no shade. If it was Nigeria and you said you got kidnapped, no tea, no shade. Love my Nigerian brothers and sisters, but it's 1 + 1 = 2. You got kidnapped by 3 police officers with no badge in this Ghana that we're in this Ghana. Wow. That really made it click to me that like people will do whatever to get viral on social media. Whatever they need to do to be viral on social media, people will do. Like this is sickness. Like this is actually mental illness. Like, ma'am, please come to the front and tell us what your agenda was. Like, what was the, like, please, like, you thought you were going to get away with it, maybe because it was Ghana and, like, people weren't going to.
Okay, so this was what the lady actually said. I mean, because among 4 parties, they believe that some people are behind. Now, before this particular video will end, we will show you other series of videos. This particular series of videos, you will see very well, say, some people, okay, and some Black Americans from back room, all they are doing now is basically bad PR. All that they are doing now is basically bad PR. That is exactly what these Ghanaians are now back room have. Sana omoye. But before then, the Ghana Tourism Authority, or more the press statements about, they are saying that they are taking keen interest and also monitoring the developments at air course on social media. Noting that these things are very disturbing, and obviously it's disturbing and hurting the image of Ghana on the international stage, especially now that we are in the festive season. They brought up this. Also for immediate release, statement on circulating video involving visiting Black Americans. Now, it reads here that the Ghanaian Tourism Authority, GTA, has taken note of video circulating on social media in which some visiting Black Americans alleged that they were kidnapped and extorted by individuals purported to be police officers. We wish to state categorically or clearly that the Ghana Police Service and the Cyber Security Authority have already launched full investigations into the matter. These agencies are handling the issue with urgency and seriousness it deserves, and the public will be updated upon the conclusion of their work. As Ghana welcomes thousands of visitors for this year's December in Ghana, GTA assures all travelers and the public that the country remains a safe and trusted destination. Our security system, supported by national law enforcement and tourism sector partners, have been reinforced to guarantee safety, comfort, peace of mind for all visitors throughout the festive season. We urge the public to remain calm and allow the security agencies to complete their investigations. Visitors who require assistance or wish to make inquiries may contact the Ghana Tourism Authority GTA on these numbers as follows: 059 0579 579019, and the others are a screen, so and even WhatsApp number. It further goes on, it says Ghana remains open, secure, and welcoming. Visitors should have full confidence in their safety. And this was signed by Bright Asempa Chadide, who happened to be the director. The director of corporate affairs the Ghana Tourism Authority. So this is exactly what really went on. But then I told you earlier, I said there are videos on social media which is also circulating. Now in these particular videos, you will see some Black Americans with these particular similar remarks. More parties of Ghana, for some reason, has turned out to be worse than even our neighboring Nigeria. We'll play these particular videos for you to see. Foreigners or more kasa, some are complaining about Uber, some are complaining about rent. Now, it's safe to say, these complaints, they shouldn't just be rubbish, okay? In as much as we believe, there could be some people behind these kind of things, some of these complaints be legitimate. But before that, let's play a couple of videos here just to tell you exactly or just to affirm exactly what some people are showing, what some people are saying, some Black Americans are saying after they visited Ghana. These videos have gone on social media and they are now trending. Can say it is creating a bad PR for the nation.
Ghana is the only place in the entire world where you get robbed by the police, bro. I swear to God. I promise you. This is my second... Oh, sorry. Give me 2 seconds. So basically, me and my friends got stopped because we were going the opposite way. A cop comes out of nowhere. First of all, he's not even wearing proper cop gear. He just has a cop helmet and normal clothes on. So we thought he was taking a piss. He told us to turn around, asking where we were from, and then asked for our taxi's ID. We were saying we were trying to get some food, and he said, okay, you know what? Follow me. I'll take you to a good spot. Took us all around, dropped us off, and I was like, okay, if you don't want any trouble, pay me. So we had to pay them like 50 Ghana City, which is only like $10 or 10 pounds, but still, bro. It seems like everyone here wants money. It's so funny, bro. This is the only place you can properly get robbed by police. Ghana is the only place in the entire world where you get robbed.
I booked an apartment on Airbnb in Accra. It's a nice apartment, and the thing about the complex is I stay here all the time, but I've just gone with a private renter at this point. He brought cleaners to my house. I already said, don't bring the cleaners. I'm not going to be in. He brought the cleaners, and the cleaners stole $300 out of my money. I had a stack of money, dollars, and they stole the money, thinking I wouldn't clock because it's just a little bit of the dollars that I did have. You need to be careful. I went through Airbnb, and now I have to report it back. And I've gone to the owners and told them that your cleaners have stolen money. They said, are you sure? Are you sure about it? I've left my bag inside the wardrobe. Whenever I come in and my headscarf is hanging over the wardrobe, they open the wardrobe to go through my shit. If you're cleaning someone's house, why would you open the wardrobe to look through their clothes? It doesn't make no sense. My bag was in there with the money. And they stole it. This is why you need to be careful in foreign countries. I booked an apartment on Airbnb in Accra. It's a nice apartment, and the thing about the complex is I stay here all the time, but I've just gone with a private renter at this point. He brought cleaners to my house. I already said, don't bring the cleaners. I'm not going to be in. He brought the cleaners, and the cleaners stole $300 out of my money. I had a stack of money, dollars, and they stole the money, thinking I wouldn't clock because it's just a little bit of the dollars that I did have. You need to be careful. I went through Airbnb, He brought cleaners to my house. I already said, don't bring the cleaners. I'm not going to be in. He brought the cleaners, and the cleaners stole $300 out of my money. I had a stack of money, dollars, and they stole the money, thinking I wouldn't clock because it's just a little bit of the dollars that I did have. You need to be careful. I went through Airbnb, and now I have to report it back. And I've gone to the owners and told them that your cleaners have stolen money. They said, are you sure? Are you sure about it? I've left my bag inside the wardrobe. Whenever I come in and my headscarf is hanging over the wardrobe, they open the wardrobe to go through my shit. If you're cleaning someone's house, why would you open the wardrobe to look through their clothes? It doesn't make no sense. My bag was in there with the money. And they stole it. This is why you need to be careful in foreign countries. I booked an apartment on Airbnb in Accra. It's a nice apartment, and the thing about the complex is I stay here all the time, but I've just gone with a private renter at this point. He brought cleaners to my house. I already said, don't bring the cleaners. I'm not going to be in. He brought the cleaners and the cleaners stole $300 out of my money. I had a stack of money, dollars, and they stole the money thinking I wouldn't clock because it's just a little bit of the dollars that I did have. You need to be careful. I went through Airbnb, and now I have to report it back. And I've gone to the owners and told them that your cleaners have stolen money. They said, are you sure? Are you sure about it? I've left my bag inside the wardrobe. Whenever I come in and my headscarf is hanging over the wardrobe, they
suspect you might have money, then they will take you. They decided they wanted to take us. They heard my accent because they asked me a question and I had to answer. And they checked our bags. They checked our whole body. And when they looked inside my bag and they saw that I had cash, they decided I needed to get in the car. So they told me to get in the car. I tried to ask why. I tried to say, is there anything else we can do to handle this? No. So they told me to get in the car. And they got mad anytime I tried to ask a question. So I realized, I cannot fight back right now. I have to simply, do what they say. So there was a friend of a friend that I knew in Ghana, and we had just went out to eat. So we're in the car together. They actually cuffed him, because he's from Ghana, but they didn't cuff me. They just sat me in the car and they drove us around. Little did I know we were driving in Accra the whole time, but I don't know where I am. I don't have my phone. It feels like we're getting further and further from where I'm staying. I'm feeling, I'm feeling terrible. One of the cops is in the back seat and he has his arm around me the entire time. They were screaming at us most of the time, and then sometimes they would decide to be nice. It was definitely a good cop, bad cop type of situation. They told me I would not go back home to America. They would arrest me and those charges would not let me board my flight. They told my friend he was gonna go to jail. And the threats kept escalating. At one point, they even made me read a Bible verse and explain to them why that meant we should pay them before they take us to the station. This was the most nonsense I'd ever heard in my life. But again, they're all armed. There are big ass guns in the trunk. At one point, there were 5 officers with us, and then at other points there were 3. There was no leaving. There was nothing. So at one point they pulled up at an ATM and they told me, take out as much as you can. Are you dumb? Do I look like I'm fucking dumb? And I know y'all are probably like, why'd you get in the car? Why did I get in the car? I didn't have a choice. You try resisting 5 fat ass, armed, stinky ass, and let's get into the smell, because the car stank. So at the ATM, I told them that, obviously they couldn't go with me into the ATM. I went to tell the bank people that I was not good, but they still had my phone and my camera and the person that I was with. So I took some money out. I took out $150 US dollars, and I went back to the car. I gave it to them. I'm thinking it's over then. No, of course it's not over. They're still trying to extort more money out of the other guy. So eventually they get about $400. And I'm tweaking because I'm I need to be up in the morning. Where am I? Who am I? I just felt, I've never felt powerless like that in my life. So I say all that to say, if you're going to Accra for Dirty December or going at all, make sure you don't, look rich. I didn't even have on any designer. I had on a cheap outfit. It doesn't matter. Don't talk back to the police because they will straight up take you. Thankfully, I'm not physically harmed. $150 is nothing. They don't know that, but I'm gonna be okay, and I thank God for that. I thank God for his covering. And yeah, just want to tell my story. Last night, I was kidnapped and robbed by the police in Ghana. I was kidnapped by 3 masked police officers. They covered their license plate. They didn't have name badges on. They completely covered their face. And as soon as they decided they wanted to take us, they took our phones and my camera. So I couldn't record. I couldn't contact anyone. I couldn't even look up, what was legal for the police to do. And obviously, not sure the law would have helped. They are the law like that. So the Uber driver that picked us up at the end of the night told me that this is something that happens frequently. The police set up these checkpoints all over the city, and they'll stop you for anything. You could not come to a complete stop. You could have something on you. You could do nothing and they will stop you. And if they find out that you're American or they suspect you might have money, then they will take you. They decided they wanted to take us. They heard my accent because they asked me a question and I had to answer. And they checked our bags. They checked our whole body. And when they looked inside my bag and they saw that I had cash, they decided I needed to get in the car. So they told me to get in the car. I tried to ask why. I tried to say, like, is there anything else we can do to handle this? No. So they told me to get in the car. And they got mad anytime I tried to ask a question. So I realized, like, I cannot fight back right now. I have to simply, like, do what they say. So there was a friend of a friend that I knew in Ghana, and we had just went out to eat. So we're in the car together. They actually cuffed him because he's from Ghana, but they didn't cuff me. They just sat me in the car and they drove us around. Little did I know we were driving in Accra the whole time, but I don't know where I am. I don't have my phone. It feels like we're getting further and further from where I'm staying. Like I'm feeling, I'm feeling terrible. One of the cops is in the back seat and he has his arm around me the entire time. They were screaming at us most of the time, and then sometimes they would decide to be nice. Like it was definitely like a good cop, bad cop type of situation. They told me I would not go back home to America. They would arrest me and those charges would not let me, like, board my flight. They told my friend he was gonna go to jail. And the threats kept escalating. At one point, they even made me read a Bible verse and explain to them why that meant we should pay them before they take us to the station. This was the most nonsense I'd ever heard in my life. But again, they're all armed.
Okay, so it's here for some way and a air course. So Yebo Shini akọ any reports if the 4th estate or Eba. The 4th estate, which is led by Manasseh Azuri or Masanso drop a new latest expose. Now this particular expose, it is really kicking because exposing the hidden truth and the hidden reality behind Ghana's agricultural sector. It's therefore so we need the farming any agricultural sector niche here. If it be GMO, genetic modified food, right? As an genetic modified food, what it means is that a Driabanka naturally or say this seed SFM. Now the end of the day, it take it 3 months, 4 months to grow. The chemicals be ebe cano. It acha 1 month ni. Adi anke bi o say so kakre bi no. The chemicals be frasa plants na aso kese. So chemicals are more than usual. Into you be alko dream out say in toast any jane in near my ebi wa in toast any jane, especially fruits no apple no. Was apple we there and check down your correct apple, especially banana. And it's banana you will local your foreign bananas and your local banana. Obi a woni banana so you say banana all the 12 so 3 months ne be do Ghana. Ebe say. So what they do is that omo ye ne ye bunu esi shape so a ye the chemicals are one. They ba be do no obe so no if we say fresh they be a GMO, a modified food a chemicals in kwa. Now me know can say Manasseh Azuri and then the 4th estate they release an expose exposing a dark secret behind Ghana's agricultural GMO foods. Me know can say ababeye adia very worrying. It's all share video quick one. Near share what is really going on in this particular sector, the hidden secret and the dark secret behind it. Yeah, share video we bet us because in some way Manasseh Azuri it is one thing which is really causing a lot of illness because the side effects for these GMO foods they are very, very worrying in this particular country, Ghana.
A dangerous menace is causing damage on the quiet. Vegetables on the market now at risk of contamination.
We face problems with pests that actually destroy our crops and other stuff. If we don't use it, it will end up damaging the crops. So we really need to use the pesticides.
The entirety of agrochemicals, they are all poisons, one way or the other. Once it's able to kill a pest.
And as Ghana continues to reel under the havoc of lands degraded by illegal mining, farmers too bearing the brunt of lost soil fertility, forcing the use of excessive chemicals, and with it, the negative effects.
Ntosun de mina beya. Bomu de onala usiwa na nyam.
So that is exactly what reports are here. Manasa Zure Edibaya. We are looking for it to the full expose, but I think Opeso video, and yes, I think Opeso the full video. Oko a fourth estate GH or YouTuber, you should see it. But in the camp of Kennedy Akompre Japan, because Ken is saying something about Kakum National Park. He is still on thought. Remember, say next month, January 31st, and he have the lessons. Now, or part say Kakum National Park Nankasano. There are a whole lot of questions about what should be done at the Kakum National Park, and he says that there's really nothing at the Kakum National Park. And it's he is going to transform it, the Kakum National Park, to be a major tourist destination in Africa. King Japon lauded this idea as big. Yintie in Sema in some of the tuja in regards with he changing the whole Kakum National Park.
Kakum Forest. Hwini the genuine. I will change everything there.
How?
Onim. Me ne me nyonko Chinese ne baabi. Me didn't call Kakum. Ya ba o for canopy. O see from here, we say that's all. And that question is deep. It means he's not impressed. And therefore, she's not going to make reference to other people or recommend Kakum Forestry. Mama history. Near any muninano, you build hotels inside. Electric fence. 100 kilometers square. We have to do it. Because any short term, a long term, so they go and see. So Rwanda, one of the beautiful hotels, almost seen forest, baby a monkeys, a walk. Nice 5-star hotel. Now what you know, o glass no bones monkeys in the boom and get one. Gorillas no dear, wachiri. Oh, Kosha, you stand about 500 meters away and one kick $300 where African.
Hey.
Abrofunu to $1,000. And then I'm going to say Kakum ya genuine. I'm going to change the whole place. And run nominate a jinsam. So on the free nominate. And he admitted say there should be another entrance from Asin. Yeah, a whole pan and one walk. Yani, mena nanum koko. Asono no bufua. Baba no mo bubu ni nyina. Yeah, no mo bubu ni nyina. They are there. They are still there. Yeah, say crowd yo mo doso. Say ani bi aba. Ya ma wo mu kun wo mu. First wo be bubu wo mu ne ma no ma kokun wo mu. No mo de aba ye say sono na mo ede. No mu twitwa. Ya chama e kuro ni nyina. Yeah. Yeah, they are there. They are there. Into Kakum Forest, yeah, you have to spend money and build the electric fence from Jokwa or wherever it is, all the way to Asin Kongunkwayem in Pentimwa. 100 miles square, Namwani Gum. Again, ma close crowd. By a grandma did I say lions, no, early morning. Papa no hotel, and walk inside, no. Basement. Now we get telescope. Say now kwa now kushim unse mwano egugu. What you say? And they are making money. What are we doing? Kakum Forest, they know. Like the Chinese in Ibisame. So that's all. It means when you're impressed.
Pay more.
Right. Because I've visited countries, sir. It's working. So I believe in what I'm saying.
Okay.
Okay, so in some way, Enake in Japan, Eddie Tuja about his vision to transform the Kakum National Park. Menewuka say, to him, it needs to be transformed. And I really side with him. Why? Because Kakum National Park, there's truly nothing there. Shini ho, debi shino, ediene ho. Kwakwa nam sadie no so China for Chinese have even built bakubia a more higher and a brother. What I say, it's so kama ni ade. So we really need to do these kind of things, and at the end of the day, yes, we can have something to basically write home about. So that is the whole issue. At the end of the day, the issue about the Kakum National Park, any idea, so you need the indemnity. Will do well to give you more updates based on all of these particular happenings at Aircoso. At the end of the day, it is what it is. We'll be giving you more updates, but before then, before updates, you want same PIA can. So please, we are live. You can bring in your comments, what you think about so far issues are here discussing about. What do you think about it? Just drop your comment. Maybe we did some few comments, and also we are asking Ebonowa the whole act issue. Do you believe say a real? Do you believe it's true? And I said he's just doing it for content creation purposes. At the end of the day, in 24, you can just vote yes or no. Now at the end of the day, you do survey, you be really survey, Now you count the results of the survey. Now at the end of the day, we see the way forward. So that is the whole issue. So in regards with in summer with about Noah. Yembushi nyenkwa the camp of Natoshi because Kamiako said Natoshi Abronye is not really liking the we are all call against Baumia. Remember I said this was a lady who was supporting Dr. Baumia, and all of a sudden she is not supporting Dr. Baumia again or campaigning against Dr. Baumia. She is for Kennedy Japan. Now yenko ti nsema Abronye account about this lady exposing say lady ebra na oni abam no ni hwete so no a oba abam no na we making the properties but no or cast delegates together with her obanya hwe yenko ti nsema Abronye edituja. When we come back we continue.
Na to si to aso ka say Baumia na ma ye lusu ye ne de ne kwa obesa lusu biem na to si ajapade a wo besesa ye e won kran ha no nkranfo hu ye ntro manto aba ma because now ni bi na to si now ni bi o te se me a now ni bi uni bi nto te se me a ajapade a na wo fonfom won kran ha ene kumase adan a ukoto ya uto obi ma obi me de hu pictures nyina beba ukopon a ya de awabie ade track akese a wo akwa ye de akogu ho eno so ka ho bi no moto aba editi a MPP enti enya Baumia eniema wa akwai a wanfam wa MPP fo na wafu enti na obedi post no na obi e company na de company no kwa krakasia wudi ba be ye wadwuma a wutifia obedidi na MPP fo kwa ahotirem party ni kwa ahotirem now say nye running mate dia wo mwa MPP wudi scanner wanya no ebe akwai wo properties no eno na ma elusu producer wa shema bufuo fakase na tosi akwai one ni kunu no tosi lat no faguso sane yebekọ no se ye nye no say party ni yebeka sembia no yebekọ ni dirty kasi we nyina no eye na tosi dia eye tosi lat ono no ni kunu na one na jai no ni kunu ne de lati ana one ne tosi no nti o ma ye no tosi lat na tosi sika obenya wo MPP mu no kasi ode kra ya ode be ma contractors na bosumi bia na contractors ye adwuma na omo disika na ebre no ne yade a ewo pon ene negu no wo sara wo sei Baumia na ma elusu ye sa niema wei a wo besesa ye ene ma MPP lusu ye we nyina ye ne dia na to si ne yade no se wo ka kwana ye fa so lusu ya ajapade a wo befom ye tosi lat tosi late ni kunu ndi late ana omko bie company ana omofre omo de kwato cars we every China nto omo de high contractors na omo jiska e wo pon yard ne wo pon tosi late wo na tosi wajapade no
boa wa mwa MPP na se wo kofie akwatena se adwene ho na wo nko na obedidi ne yade mo hwe ne ma eguso eno na ma elusu ye nya baomia mo kɔ ne dirty ye be kɔ ne dirty this time amoma hu say ye ni abere enti get ready dia wototo wo kumase a woto obi ma obi make sure videos ni nyina ti se sa na ye be kɔ no.
Actually, far from that to one other issue air so the major reaction into recently in Sema ex-president Kufuor Ekokanye. Now one person ordina no ababe tuja Ellen Amadaku. According to her, no, she is not really surprised about the things ex-president Kufuor Ekanye because yen kind of cray Niama Bibri Eko so Kufuor government mo. But then the truth is you don't have to really agree to everything Eko so Kufuor na bemu or the same Bibri etuja. In a minute, no, we'll be watching this particular reaction if he the likes of Ellen Amadaku however in regards with ex-president Kufuor his statement and in some or the tuja say no say some of the tuja and it has drawn a lot of reactions among will be bread and reacting on this particular issue on social media into in some or the etuja ye babaka we will actually continue with a more update in regards with in some air course right here on this particular platform.
All right, so
yes,
you on the floor.
After talking about president, everybody should go and look for that interview.
Yes.
He had it, I think it was aired yesterday by delay. I think it's one of the most instructive interviews we would ever have of his life. I know he would write a book to us as we go along, but his mother's story is something that I think those of us, young women coming up, and those of us, we should look at it. I mean, that is original feminist, original. She doesn't just think with her heart, she thinks with her head. And that produced her a president. So, yes. And in the same conversation, in the same line of conversation, that's when he also did mention that there were some decisions that former president made that he didn't agree with.
Yeah.
And, well, he's not supposed to agree with everything that the former president made.
Right.
He had his presidency, he had his time,
right.
He did it. His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo also had his presidency, he had his time. And we are going to evaluate every one of them on their deeds and their works. I believe that President Kufuor actually did well, very well for himself. 15 years down the line, we are all looking at it. All the things that he did for us as Ghanaians, we appreciate it. Was everything okay in his regime? No. Did he have issues? He mentioned some himself. He said one of the things that really got to him was
how his children who were leading their own private lives, and looking at his background and where he was coming from, his child will go and buy a hotel and it becomes national news. And he said it emphatically, but the hotel was for his son, a businessman, somebody he had trained and he could afford it, and he bought it. But you know how the politics went. And when he was also accused of having some twins with some woman B, that he said he's still waiting for the twins to appear. And all those little, not little, I cannot say it's little.
Giselle Yags.
Yes, you remember that issue too. He said he's still waiting for the twins, and that's...
Raymond is not okay.
He comes from a family where children are accepted. So if those twins are there, he still wants them. But they never came. And all the issues that he also had when he was president. So yes, he does not have to agree with everything that His Excellency Nana Addo did. We would also evaluate. His Excellency Nana Addo is also hitting 82 next year, God willing. He's 81 years. And I'm sure that he would also sit down, he would also write his memoirs. He would also talk about his time. Let's remember that he just went out. It's barely a year out of office. President Kufuor is 15 years out of office. So let's give some time. I'm sure that we'll all have a discussion on President Nana Addo's time too. Right. But whether President, I've seen a lot of people talking about, why must he agree with him on everything? He doesn't have to agree. And he did say in the interview that some things also went very well. That he knows that the MPP did well with those issues, but some also didn't go well. That is natural. He doesn't also agree with President Mahama on a lot of things. So we are all entitled to our opinion.
All right, if in same way, and Helen Amadaku or the Tuja. Now, Yebobo Shini ako the camp, Yebeko the camp of the former communication minister Kujo Opon Nkrumah. Now, Kujo Opon Nkrumah or the Nyema Bibri Ababe Tuja, he said a lot of things. I mean, okay, say, Nyema or the Ababe Tuja, it is really trending on social media. Wabe money take about a whole lot of things so in a minute, we will be looking at some of the things Kujo Opon Nkrumah or the Ababe Tuja in regards with Ghana's economy and also other things the Ekoso. Alright, so Kujo Opon Nkrumah last few months and on December 2 just said we are government running economy and he also made mention said the government is actually pumping a lot of dollars to stabilize the cedi and international cedi na immediately the government stops pumping dollars to stabilize the cedi will fluctuate and I say bekosro and exactly in regards to the dollars na bekosro and that is exactly what we are seeing today. Now a cedi is somewhere around 11 cedi 50 pesos to $1. Me no ka say the same Kujo Opon Nkrumah or the same Biababe Tuja all check. So okay, fine. Wakayen and bim. Now what is really next? And this is actually sending shivering to the spines of the National Democratic Congress. People are asking, so okay. Kujo Opon Nkrumah, Wama warning Aba. You see what is really next? Yinti in Sama Kujo Opon Nkrumah Edit Tuja. When we come back, we will be looking at this particular issue by and also updates in regards with this particular in Sama Kujo Opon Nkrumah or they have Tuja about Ghana your dollar issue. I mean, okay, say yeah. You see, I know a Kamiako say we are going back to square one.
Sir, please, the Bank of Ghana has admitted that they've pumped about $10 billion. Yes. The exchange rate. Please, does this make you feel vindicated?
No, I don't feel vindicated. I think, first of all, what's important is that they are being honest.
with what's going on. Initially they were claiming that there was no market intermediation. Then they said it's good governance. And we kept drawing their attention that we've read the numbers. What they are doing is that they are doing a lot of market intermediation. It is good that now they are admitting. But it also then allows everybody who is watching to be able to, participate in the conversation about how sustainable it is. And more importantly, what alternative uses that money can be put to. That money can be put to a lot of uses that will create jobs for young people, create development for the economy. But they have, as a policy decision, decided to use it for market intermediation. So for me, I'm happy that they have admitted the truth now. And I'm sure now civil society organizations and the youth can all now participate in the conversation of what alternative uses that money can be used to, and even how sustainable this approach is. Yeah.
All right, so thank you very much.
Sure.
All right, so in some way, a Kojo upon Kruma or the two in regards with Ghana, dollar, Menoka say, the figure is not actually static. Now, far from that, so you also have this to say in Parliament, because in regards with Ghana, your recent budget, it is quite evident that things aren't really going on well. As said, in fact, there are people who even come on social media to say, since you're to Obama, a year and this, nothing has really changed. Say the value is kind of the same. So Kojo Upon Nkrumah actually had his own stance about what should be done in regards with Ghana's economy, our budget, and certain things I would believe he said are buying what's also. And yes, sir, according to him, they are just going to end up like the previous administration, which was kicked out from government because they failed to heed to the concerns, and also some of the things are not Ghana for were complaining about all these while. It's in summer Kojo Upon Nkrumah or the Tuja. When we come back, we will be looking at other substantial issues in regards with some of the major concerns are making our parliament. I mean, can say it is something that we all need to pay much attention to.
Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. May you live long. Mr. Speaker, I think, as has been intimated by colleagues, we will all support the adoption of this report. However, Mr. Speaker, there are a number of fundamental issues that I think need to be addressed before this report requesting for about 5 billion for 2026 is approved. Mr. Speaker, in the budget, the Minister for Finance has submitted a report on the utilization of funds for 2025. And there are major discrepancies in the reporting on how those funds, especially under the big push, have been utilized. And Mr. Speaker, if it's possible, my prayer will be that we step this down and correct those discrepancies. They are very significant, running into billions of cedis. And when we are done with that, then we come to make a new allocation. I'm even of the view that the 5 billion is not enough, and it's important that we do a better allocation. But the foundation on which we are building this new allocation is problematic. Mr. Speaker, first of all, if you go to Appendix 3C of the 2025 budget, you will find that in the domestic capital expenditure allocation of about 7 billion Ghana cedis, there was no allocation as part of that for payment for the big push. In fact, the big push was set out separately from that 7 billion. If you come and look at the Appendix 2C in the 2026 budget, the numbers don't add up. And Mr. Speaker, if you give me just a bit of latitude, I want to draw the minister's attention.
This is the main budget you are referring.
Yes, I do have it here. And this is the foundation on which we are mounting this new application for the 5 billion. And that's why I think it should be corrected as a matter of urgency. First of all, in the 2026 budget, which reports on the 2025 allocation, the Ministry of Finance said that they had allocated 13 billion for the big push, 8.8 coming from ABFA and 4.8 from the mineral royalties. As at the end of September, they had programmed that they will spend 9.9 billion on the big push. The first challenge, Mr. Speaker, is that the report claims that they have spent 10 billion on the big push. Why that cannot be correct is that the big push was launched on the 16th of September. It cannot be possible that between the 16th of September and the end of September, as this report is saying, 10 billion cedis worth of certificates of some sort had been presented, processed, and paid within that 2-week period. Between when, no, this is a very serious matter. Let's not play with it. It's not about 24-hour economy. We are trying to correct the data. Let's take it seriously. Between the 16th of September and the end of September, Mr. Speaker, it is not possible that 10 billion cedis worth of construction work had been done, certificates issued and paid for. Mr. Speaker, if you go further, you will find that, as I mentioned earlier, in the original allocation of 7 billion, there was no provision for old contractors to be paid under the big push, if you check the Appendix 3C in the 2025. In this new budget, we are now being informed that 3.3 billion cedis of the 7 billion cedis that was supposed to be used for paying old contracts is going to be paid to old contractors under the big push. Again, Mr. Speaker, it becomes difficult to reconcile the two. But my last point that is most worrying, again, if you look at the data, Mr. Speaker, as at the end of September, the Ministry of Finance reports that they have paid 5.1 billion from the Minerals Royalties Fund under the big push. And then they project that by the end of December, they will collect 1 billion back from the contractors. It's not possible. Money that has been paid out, Minister, cannot be taken back from those contractors. So if you look at the Appendix 2C, it says that 5.1 as at the end of quarter 3, but what they will record at the end of the year is 4.9, Mr. Speaker. So if you look at the numbers that have been presented by the ministry responsible for finance, it doesn't add up. Mr. Speaker, there's a suspicion that old contractors are being paid, but it is being captured as though they are being paid for the big push program. And that will be very deceptive to people, because people's understanding is that contracts are being given, certificates are being presented, and they are being paid for. So, Mr. Speaker, I'm of the view, respectfully, that before we approve this new 5 billion allocation, these are not small sums of money we are talking about. We should, as a matter of urgency, maybe stand this down and get these numbers corrected and aligned properly, so that when the new allocation is being done, we are sure that the reporting will align as well. I thank Mr. Speaker. This is my contribution to the report.
Minority Leader, let's hear you.
Mr. Speaker, I want to align with the views expressed by the respected member for Ofuasia Yebi. Mr. Speaker may recall that during the comments on this budget, the minority raised this serious issue of cut and paste budget. No effort has been made to address this. And day in, day out, our friends get exposed. We keep exposing them. The figures that the respected member for Ofuasia Yebi just put out, it appears this budget was never scrutinized. And we are being called upon approve. If you say you've done some payment and the big push, look at when the big push announcement was made, the period, and then you are allocating figures in excess of 7 billion, claiming that you have made some payments. You launch big push, you say you made payment to contractors under big push in less than a month. Mr. Speaker, this can be nothing less than a very lazily prepared budget. You just putting out the numbers. You don't do any due diligence. You come to this parliament, you didn't scrutinize. You mean you didn't read your own budget? We've told you time without number that your work, your governance, and its success will largely depend on the scrutiny that will come from this side. It's the reason why we always want you to be a bit more tolerant, because your 189 did not even spot this. You didn't spot it. Figures are just being bandied around. This is a time I expect you to rise on a point of order. Rise on a point of order, because these figures have become part of the records of this house. Mr. Speaker, that's it.
Okay, so that was in Sema a year. Kojo upon Kruma near Fenya marking somebody to about the whole Ghana budget. I mean, no, about one of the issues everyone is actually a year responding to. So we are looking at this particular issue and will be actually looking at it in its entirety. Now, twice only acquired the camp of a Sidin Kitia, he being the party's chairman, or Minokasi or the Insimbia Babe Tuja, in reaction with Insimbia Nano Kofodi Tuja say, President John Dramani Mahama Obeko third term, and he together with the National Democratic Congress Omudi Insimbia Babe Tuja said this third term agenda no, it is dead on arrival. It is dead on arrival. Now, almost the statement about it be read this particular statement the reason why is Sidin Kitia believes Mahama should be a person and he shouldn't even go for a third term because it doesn't go in line with the party's constitution. Even Ghana press release the National Democratic Congress or Modebaya is Sidin Kitia and Sasha say also the National Democratic Congress statement by the National Democratic Congress NDC on the third presidential term. As the National Democratic Congress has taken notice of recent public discussions following remarks attributed to Majority Leader in Parliament, Honorable Mahama Ayariga, concerned the possibility of a constitutional amendment to allow His Excellency John Dramani Mahama to contest for a third presidential term. As national chairman for the NDC, I wish to state equivocally, categorically, and without ambiguity that the NDC has no intention now in the future of mandating parliamentary majority to pursue or support any amendment to the 1992 constitution that seeks to extend the term after 2-term presidential limit. So according to Sidin Kitia, Pacha said this whole agenda I be more partisan Kema Mahama enko third term omo party the NDC will not support it because 1992 constitution amended. It further goes on to state that the position of the NDC on this matter is firm and long-standing. Also, the NDC is fully committed to Ghana's constitutional 2-term limit, which has guided our democracy since 1992. Two, it was the NDC that birthed and championed the 1992 constitution, and it was under our leadership that the presidential term was capped at 2. This was due to deliberately safeguard the national stability, prevent the abuse of executive authority, and protect the integrity of our governance system. 3. Any attempt to remove or distort this important pillar of our constitutional architecture will be nothing short of dangerous. A third term amendment will introduce needless tension, invite instability, and undermine the peace Ghana has enjoyed under the Fourth Republic, a peace built on constitutional foundation laid by NDC itself. It further goes on to say here, let it be made abundantly clear that NDC will not sponsor, support, or entertain or tolerate any move to amend the presidential term limits for any individual, including His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. President Mahama has repeatedly demonstrated his respect for the constitution and democratic traditions of our nation. The party urges the public to disregard the rumors suggesting otherwise. Our focus remains on governance reforms, economic recovery, national unity, and strengthening democratic institutions, not on tampering with 2-term limits. The NDC remains committed to protecting the very constitution we authored in the interest of Ghana's continued stability, peace, stability, and democratic progress. So the NDC here is saying that they will not be giving in to request if you be more eba say ebeyanka John Dramani Mahama extend the constitutional team into aso because these few months are waba into power no his actions and inactions not sure say he's really thinking of Ghana, and because of that so I was say a man a year an additional theme no can say no Johnson is saying Kitia Edin Simbia Babetuja said these things won't happen. Now in this same vein no a year Justin Kudia Edin Simbia Babetuja said this whole third theme no agenda it is being sponsored by some people just to distort the country. Now I could see in summer a year Justin Kudia Edituja about Mohammed's third theme and also some of the arguments are air course to say, oh, Mahama, yeah, there's so much. The way he's handled the economy within this short period of time, now. Some people even suggest saying call for life. And according to Justin Kudia, this agenda, no, it will fall flat because the new patriotic party will not actually be entertaining this particular kind of nonsense. And an argument, if he the National Democratic Congress or EBA. Share a brief statement and in summer Justin Kudia Edituja. When we come back, we will be looking at other issues in regards with this particular matter Minoka say trending on social media.
Parliamentary democracy. That's a party be not just a majority. Omanya a super majority, now an absolute majority, and they may say omotimi aje pandai just for the purpose of argument way. Now the yet say the high courts will be making decisions on Suhum there, on Ahafuano, southeast or southwest there, and some other constituencies. Say Ekobase
o dey fan say this 276 nyina o dey fan say almost
266 then almost I mean they can virtually do everything.
That entrenched provisional constitution over Sanaka say no sir 4 years no you trim.
Oh no, send the entrenched
and sir one party state no, how are you going to rule in a one party state? Then abe constitution abe send 2020 then coalitions ana Obi 92 ni seat by call parliament na this was seats ni nyina wo ho apart from mam how Yakubu mu ana omo kan wa omo ho eno kra ne to aba ma MPP e be gina to me asempa etima obi adwenye ne se de asi no e ya de a emom sa gravitas ne se o e se ye de ye nya o man de nya bibia pese ye pebia no e betima trans ehwe I know say there's an agenda for President Mahama to go for a third term. Way, yes.
You know, and answer you've heard.
No, I know. No, sir.
And no, why in the catch trail?
You see, me better still do her.
Yes.
I same way. I think somewhere June, July, ho baby. No, man, he did mechini. How can this be possible? General Secretary Assembly now okay. Now Constitution is very clear. So we call 8 years. We try to be. Uko 2 times I want to be.
Yes.
I'm a catch or say, Mrs. Uncommon, Akos. And then, Obeti, I saw Fufuni be sorry. Oh, my penny, Juma, you cried there. Case with me twice so called 10 term. Obenya, I Fufu sorry. As a man, you could be. And the bones a central be sorry. And you think, say, is by accident. How be? A grand scheme said, young testy waters and young shed near my uncle. And I can tell you, said one of the main reasons I end this for ye Chief Justice everyone wake up home. So I almost say book we friend Japan, me boy. Yes, so my document boy on my trust winning election 2024 and beyond. We are my copy. A tier for permit me jam mom to boss in a kind. A playbooker no more person mu yen na na ekos. It is I ya mama token no emi ya say abutum. But second no before for be no adwene say be nefro.
Baba granted say the will can cry and cry. You've made a point, sir. The provision in the constitution on the executive no a entrenched provision. into whether or super majority in parliament or who super majority entering provisions are amended through referendum into anonye adia will be abetimi aye ho bibia say the other option will be to go to the Supreme Court under Article 2:1 for the Supreme Court to interpret what 2 terms under the Constitution means. So was say consecutive, and I say I was say oko break banner sign ebebio. Say omo follow our path now. What have they done wrong? That will be using the same constitutional procedure.
And remember, obi ehun adekunti a yeyi ye mam to kunu free ho.
How so?
Supreme Court yasa the judges be do abeka ho. Me see to Kuma obi me catcho. No patronate de tutu. Enche. The party be beko Supreme Court for interpretation
on
sa provision a about 2 terms no, whether 2 terms mean 2 consecutive terms or just 2 terms. Oye nufruwa no mo say hwe other options say that constitutional amendment on beso mo ye professor
Professor H.
down no sa no mani mienu nyina mo we omo options ahwe no mani abre parliament e pe majority e pe say inya sa no mani nyina no eba honey trend. It's very difficult because when you have 2/3 majority of parliament, because there should be a referendum on it. So the easy way out is just for interpretation. Because interpretation will be a Supreme Court interpretation. He said, Abemra. And we know it. But you see, another issue. Ghana for Ozana. Our free said, was for 4 volume to from. Share NDC. You should be careful. And Kaka said, oh, you're a young person now when this is semi. It be a young person over in your age. You could yet say, Nako Pon my young quan, the better as is watching. And I'm more be a penny for be too. Remember, Timmy, your then cassette me party no wabem. The train people for where power lies. Ye church and people for consider you from genuinely or more really sad seat no. You be said the patapasem. You be use the judiciary, you be use parliament, you be electoral commission say one you see a be pamo efro amasa no mo nya kono. At least kai say e penifo be brabe di omo man so mobutu se se ko mo wenfa kabila mo ba di so mo ko pame ko mama ban penu obi abako de bia me ka say power is what transient. But see ye bedu o man ye show man na what is right is right, what is wrong is wrong. Mama with Timmy Yaw de Enka say Ebia no me kosuno. Oh yeah, say edi 4 years, edi 8 years, edi 10 years, edi 19 years, whatever years are one day the politics or the power will shift.
More intel be say after pan.
So in some way, Justin Kodua edituja. Now let's move on to this particular issue. Currently, the AES, which is the the Sahel state, is actually out here with another press release. Just a moment, please. All right, so let's move on to this particular issue. Just last week, we reported right here on this particular platform that a coup d'etat or attempted coup d'etat went on in Nigeria, in Benin. So this particular issue has brought up a lot of issues. So just last week we reported right here on this particular platform that Benin, there was an attempted coup d'etat. Now shortly after, Benin's President Talon came out with a statement saying that the coup d'etat attempt has been foiled and the soldiers involved are now being pursued after. Now we are learning the soldiers who were subsequently arrested, most of them have fled the country, including the ringleader Colonel Tagri. But then there's a new development in regards to this whole issue, because Nigeria actually sent its military aircraft to go and fight these people who were pushing for the coup d'etat, the soldiers involved in this coup d'etat in Benin. And then fortunately or unfortunately, one of these military aircrafts had an issue with fueling its tanker, so they had to make an emergency landing in Burkina Faso, and we are learning because of this, Burkina Faso's military seized the aircraft. Now there's a statement here that will be reading very soon to you. This particular statement is coming from the AES. The AES is the Sahel State Association of the Sahel State, because now they are saying that they are no more part of ECOWAS. So they brought out a statement detailing why they actually seized this particular aircraft. So this is the statement. It's in French, so we'll do well to actually translate it for you guys to see exactly what the Burkina Faso's government is saying in regards to this whole issue, and why they actually seized this particular Nigerian aircraft. Now we don't know if this is going to prompt the Nigerian government or the Nigerian military to kind of retaliate, but we are learning that they are dealing with this in a diplomatic way or on a diplomatic level. So this is the statement that they brought, but definitely this in French, so we'll have to translate it to English so we can read it for people who are watching us to understand exactly where this whole issue is actually heading. So the translation, let's put the translation on the screens. It says here, in Federation. But before then, this the press release or communique of the Confederation of the Sahel State AES relating to the violation of Confederal airspace. It reads: the Confederation of the Sahel State informs the public that an aircraft belonging to the Air Force of the Federal Republic of Nigeria of type C-130 was forced to land this day, 8 December 2025 in Bobo Dialoso, Burkina Faso, following an in-flight emergency situation while it was operating in Burkina airspace. The military aircraft had on board two crew members and 9 passengers, all military personnel. An investigation was immediately opened by the competent Burkinabe services and revealed the absence of authorization to overfly Burkinabe territory for this military aircraft. The Confederation of Sahel States condemns the utmost firmness this violation of its airspace and of the sovereignty of its member states. Faced with this unfriendly act carried out in disregard of international law and international rules governing civil and or military aviation, measures have been taken to guarantee the security of the confederal airspace and sovereignty and territorial integrity of its member states, as well as the security of the population of the AES Confederation. In this regard, and on the instructions of the heads of state, the air and anti-aircraft defenses of the confederal airspace place on maximum alert in accordance with declaration of the College of Heads of State dated 22nd December 2024, have been authorized to neutralize any aircraft that violates the confederal airspace Confederation of Sahel States. They brought out this statement. So basically what they are saying is that on the 8th of December, this was just after around the time that the coup d'etat was going on in Benin, they realized that a military aircraft was flying over Burkina Faso, and for some reason this military aircraft had an issue, so they had to do an emergency landing in Burkina Faso. Now, upon the emergency landing, the military in Burkina Faso rounded up this particular aircraft. They realized it had 2 pilots and also 9 passengers. Now, upon inquiry, they realized that this particular aircraft was from the Nigerian army, and then according to the Burkina Faso, they did not authorize this particular aircraft or military aircraft to fly over their space, and because of that they had to arrest the pilot together with the passengers. And now they brought out this particular press release saying that this is in clear violation with the AES, Association of Sahel States, their mandates, that they said that their mandate which clearly spells out that anyone who wants to fly over any Sahel state should first of all communicate to the government so that they can know exactly that this aircraft is coming from this place to this place, so perhaps they shouldn't bomb it down. But then the Nigerian government did not actually give prior notice, and because of this they had to seize this aircraft. Furthermore, they are saying that a red alert have been issued to all the Sahel states, these Sahel states which were formerly French colonies or French speaking countries in the West African ECOWAS, or in the West African countries confederation, which is the economic Community of West African States, the ECOWAS. Now they've left the ECOWAS to form the Sahel States. So now they've sent an alert to the member countries that any aircraft that flies over any Sahel state should be bombed down. And this is exactly what is really going on. Meanwhile, there are many reactions in regards with this, and many people are saying that the Nigerian government was actively involved in another state trying to foil a coup d'etat attempt. And clearly, many people are not happy why the Nigerian government will be actively indulging itself in situations which basically is not theirs, and especially looking at the fact that just around Iskana, they are or just around the northern parts of Nigeria, it is seriously still trying to get its foothold in regards to stopping these Boko Haram and also these insurgencies. But then they are actively sending military troops to other countries to fight a potential coup d'etat, and many people are reacting to this particular issue. Let's take a look at this particular video. When we come back, we will definitely continue with this particular update which is coming in.
What does this coup attempt signify in terms of the general trend of government overthrows in Africa lately?
I think we're seeing that the trend is definitely not slowing down. The trend toward what some people refer to as sovereignism, where even though we don't have a very clear picture of what exactly this particular coup attempt set out to accomplish, but based on the little fragments of information that have come out, it is clear that they seem to be of the opinion that the perceived influence of France, the perceived neo-colonial influence of France over the affairs of Benin, was something that this coup was meant to fix, so to speak. So it's clear that the wave of, if you call it nationalism, if you call it anti-colonialism, if you call it sovereignism, if you call it Pan-Africanism, whatever you call it, that wave is actually not slowing down anytime soon. And the reason it's significant that this has happened in Benin is that this is a country that has traditionally been a very strong partner of France in the West African sub-region. So for it to happen here, of all places, then, even though it would seem now the authorities claim that this coup attempt has been put down and the situation supposedly has returned to normal, what that does signify is that if it can happen in somewhere that the French would have thought that they had locked down, such as Benin, then what's to say that it's not going to happen in Cote d'Ivoire or in Gabon or in Senegal or in Congo Republic? There's really nothing to say. So I think that's the most significant thing to take away from this, that regardless of whether this has succeeded or not, it certainly looks at this point like it has not succeeded, but that regardless of that being the case, the underlying issues that led to this coup will lead to other coups. This is not something that we have heard the last of by any means.
Right now, why do you think Nigeria and ECOWAS forces decided to enter Benin to help the government from the reports we're getting lately?
Help the government is a very interesting way of putting it, because at the point where the Nigerian military made its entry into the fray, it was very unclear exactly what the government of Benin was at that time. And it's also very clear that the message that was put out by the French president, Emmanuel Macron, earlier today, the timing of the message where he said that he spoke to the Nigerian president, basically signaled to everybody that essentially a geopolitical instruction was delivered from Paris to Abuja that under no circumstances must this coup be allowed to succeed. This has happened before, as recently as 2 years ago in Niger, where something very similar happened. Some very similar noises were made. At that time, the actual military invasion from Nigeria didn't end up materializing, even though the Nigerian president tried his best to make it materialize, to the point of actually circumventing the National Assembly and trying to launch airstrikes illegally in the sovereign territory of another country without Senate approval, which is against Nigerian law. This time around, it seems like the exact playbook that was meant to be followed in 2023 has been followed to the letter. This time around, before the intention even became public, these actions had already been carried out, right? These mobilizations had already been carried out. So by the time Macron came out with a statement, by the time the Nigerian authorities came out with their various statements, this was already done. They had already. So what this signifies to me is that, putting ECOWAS aside for a second, the Nigerian government and the Nigerian military specifically has a very new type of relationship with the French government. The type of relationship that maybe you would expect the likes of Cote d'Ivoire or Senegal to have had. And why that is significant, to my eyes, is that Nigeria was not colonized by the French. Nigeria is not an ex-colony of France. Nigeria traditionally has had some sort of firewall in its relations with France, but where since 2023, when the new Nigerian president came in, Bola Tinubu, it seems as if that firewall has been taken down, and the sort of outsized influence that the likes of the US and UK have had in Nigeria in decades past, France appears to be building up that sort of influence in Nigeria now, which is unprecedented and perhaps signifies a new geopolitical approach to maintaining French influence in West Africa, or perhaps in Africa, where France is no longer apparently seeking to just partner with its former colonies, but is actually actively seeking to expand its sphere of influence even to the Anglophone region. And then the eventual entry of ECOWAS into the fray, where they put out that statement, which you referenced earlier, I think that is essentially a rubber stamp on a decision that has already been made primarily in Paris, that any coup that has as one of its stated goals the removal of French influence or European influence from West Africa, that coup regime must not be allowed to stand. And this is not just me saying this. Barely a week ago, we had a supposed coup in Guinea-Bissau, which did not by any means generate any of this reaction. Guinea-Bissau is also in West Africa. It's also an ECOWAS member state. And there was none of this reaction. There was none of these frenzied statements. There was no military reaction, nothing of the sort. And the coup was actually allowed to stand, because that was a different type of coup. That was a coup that preserved the status quo, the neo-colonial status quo. This was a coup that threatened it. And clearly the geopolitical instruction from Paris is under no circumstances must this be allowed to stand. So using first and foremost Nigerian military power now, which is a new dimension, in West African public relations, where we don't know how it is going to end, and then using ECOWAS as a sort of geopolitical rubber stamp after the fact to give the decision that was made in Paris a veneer of local acceptability.